Hi and welcome back. In our last video we saw how easy it is to scaffold a Vite plus React application and then turn it into a desktop app using Tauri. Today we are going to add HTTP support to this Tauri desktop application and see how we can make HTTP calls to remote servers. To make this happen, you will only need one package. So let's go ahead and install that with npm install -d, because it needs to be a development dependency. I mean, it can be a regular dependency, but there is no need for that. So -d at Tauri -apps/API. So once you have this installed, one other thing you have to do is just go over to the src Tauri folder and open the Tauri configuration file, and where we have allow list all set to false, just remove this and enter the following configuration. To tell Tauri that we want Rust and Tauri to allow HTTP calls, we have to define here the HTTP object and then set all to true and also requests to true. In the next configuration step, we can set scope, and here you can tell which APIs your desktop application is allowed to access. So for now, let's just set it to HTTP localhost and save it like this. Also, this is request, like a singular and not requests. Okay, so now with this, we have everything set up to make an HTTP call. So let's go back to your app.tsx file and create here a handler function. And then call this handler function when the only button on our UI is clicked. So just type here HandleClick and maybe replace this text with fetch instead of count. You can also clean up all these states from our previous application. So before implementing HandleClick, let's import the things we will need to make this fetch happen. So type import and then use the destructuring to import fetch and response type from the Tauri apps API package. Inside HandleClick, create a const response. We will use this to capture the result of the fetch, and then use await fetch like this. Okay, so because we have await, just don't forget to add the async to the HandleClick function. And then inside fetch, the first parameter is going to be the API URL. We will store this in a variable. And then the second parameter is basically the fetch options. You can see more about fetch options in the Tauri configuration. So it should be exactly here. Right now, we will only use method that's get. We can set some timeout. And we can tell fetch what is the expected response type using the imported response type and set JSON here. You can optionally log the response like this. So for API URL, I like to use the Hacker News API for any of these demo applications because it doesn't require you to create an account and it doesn't have any request limitations. It's a fairly simple API, and what we're going to do here is just fetch like a specific news item with this ID in JSON format. Save this, and now it's time to run the application. So one of the most common problems I see people encounter when trying to do HTTP fetch from a Tauri app first time is running npm run dev, which will start the application in development mode. But if you load this app in your browser and click fetch, you will get an error that window __ Tauri IPC __ is not a function. So this happens because the Tauri fetch API is only exposed inside a Tauri window. So it's not going to work from your browser. So instead of doing this, stop the app and run npx Tauri dev. This will start up the application in development mode, but also start inside a Tauri window. So our Tauri application has started and it's running in this window right here. You can also open the web browser development tools, like you can do that in Chrome or in Brave or whatever you use. It's Option Command I for me on Mac. So with this, you open the DevTools, and now if you go to console and click fetch, you will see a different error, but we got to the fetch. So now it says that the URL is not allowed on the configured scope, because if you remember in the tauri.conf.json file, we set the localhost as the only allowed URL, but we are using the hackernews.firebase.io.com in the app.tsx. So let's close this window and just copy this URL from here. And you can either add it to this list or replace localhost, and just make sure you add a slash and an asterisk to it to tell Tauri that you are allowed to call any path under this URL. Now type npx Tauri dev again. So we have the application running. Let's bring up the development tools and click fetch. So now you can see that we have the response logged. So it's getting the data from the Hacker News API. Here you can see the title of this post, for example. So this is how you make HTTP requests from Tauri applications. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Bye.